Here's a scenario I encounter more than almost any other in my work. An attorney, typically a partner, sometimes a senior counsel, has built something real, a legitimate book of business. Clients who follow them, call them directly, send referrals. A practice area that has matured and expanded well beyond what they were doing 5 years ago. And yet, every time they try to take that practice to the next level, something gets in the way. The firm doesn't have the right group to collaborate with. The brand doesn't open the right doors. The infrastructure isn't there to support the scale of work the client now needs. The practice has outgrown the platform, and nobody at the firm wants to say it out loud. I'm Andrew Wilcox, legal recruiter since 2003. And today I want to talk about one of the most quietly common and quietly painful situations in lateral moves. When the firm that built you is no longer big enough to contain what you've become. Let's start with what this actually looks like, because attorneys in this situation often don't name it correctly. They think the problem is compensation. They think the problem is culture. And sometimes those are real problems. But the root issue, the structural issue, is platform mismatch. And until you diagnose it accurately, you can't solve it. So, what does platform mismatch actually look like? Your clients are asking you to handle matters in jurisdictions where you have no infrastructure. They're asking about practice areas adjacent to yours that your firm can't adequately staff. They're asking whether you know people at the firm who handle X, and you don't know because the firm doesn't have a serious X practice. Every one of those conversations is a quiet erosion of the relationship. The client doesn't always tell you why they sent the piece of work elsewhere. They just do. Here's another version of it. You're originating business at a level that creates real firm economics. But the firm's billing rates, its brand positioning in the market, and the seniority level of the attorneys you can staff with are all pulling in the wrong direction. You're trying to compete for sophisticated work against firms with a different market position, and you keep losing. Not because of you, but because of the letterhead. Or this version you built with general counsel at companies whose legal spend has grown significantly. They're now at a level where they're thinking about panel counsel, about preferred firm relationships, about which shops can handle enterprise level matters. And your firm, for all its strengths, is not on the list and isn't going to be. Now, what do you do about it? Step one is really an honest assessment. And I mean genuinely honest, not optimistic, not pessimistic. Before you do anything else, you need to sit with the actual state of your practice. What are you generating? What are you originating versus receiving? What matters are going to other firms right now that should be yours? Where are your clients going without telling you? Most attorneys, when they actually do this exercise with discipline, find the numbers tell a clearer story than the day-to-day feel of the practice. Step two is really understanding what kind of platform you actually need. This is where I see attorneys make mistakes because they often define their platform needs too narrowly. They know they need a better litigation group, so they go looking for the best litigation group. But what they really need is a firm with the right litigation group, in the right markets, with the right client base, where they won't be walking into a conflict minefield. Platform is not just capability. Platform is fit, positioning, and politics, all three. Step three is the conversation about timing. When you've outgrown your platform, urgency is real. Every quarter you spend in the wrong spot is a quarter where client relationships are either deepening or quietly cooling. But speed without preparation is its own problem. The attorneys who make the cleanest, most successful moves are the ones who go into the market having thought through their pitch, having organized their numbers, and having a realistic view of what will and won't follow them. What you need to be prepared to articulate. When you walk into a lateral conversation with a firm, and eventually you will, you need to be able to tell a coherent, compelling story about your practice. Not just what you bill, what you originate, what your clients value about working with you, what makes your relationships sticky, why a move serves them as well as it serves you, and critically, what your practice looks like in 3 to 5 years on the right platform. Firms at the level where this conversation matters are not just buying your current book. They're investing in your trajectory. They want to see that you've thought through the transition. Here's what I want to leave you with. Outgrowing your platform is not a failure. It's actually evidence that you've done something right. The failure would be staying for too long out of just sheer comfort or inertia or loyalty to a firm that, though no fault of its own, simply can't give your clients what they need anymore. The attorneys I've seen thrive across 30-year careers are the ones who treat platform as an active decision, not something that happened to them, but something they manage with intention. Your practice built you to this point. The question is, what platform gets you to the next one? I'm Andrew Wilcox. This is the Lateral Brief. If you'd like to have a confidential discussion about your career and practice goals, please email me at andrew@wilcox-legal.com. As always, grateful, Andrew Wilcox.